When I first started prospecting full-time, gold was $45 a gram. Prospecting for gold is an incredibly difficult way to make a living. I gingerly step down into, yeah, that kind of bullcrap. Obviously, depending on where you live in the world, it's going to change how much gold you have access to, so how rich your gold fields are. Even though I live in some very rich gold fields, most of the gold in places like this, super fine. However, things are very rapidly changing. The gold price for a lot of years has been dictated by one thing and one thing alone, and that's panic in the markets. And what does that mean? Well, it's pretty simple. It all goes back to 1971. That looks like some grade A premium shit. I'm gonna get me another scoop of that stuff. Back in 1971, the then president, Richard Nixon, took America, and many other countries followed suit, off the gold standard. And the gold standard's pretty easy to understand. Every country had a stockpile of gold, and your economy, or the money that was issued by the government, was backed by that gold. That means you could go to the bank with a $1 US bill, and it would say that it was good to be exchanged for the equivalent in gold. Ah, fly bit my ear, but I found a crystal. You can see that a lot better if you hold it up to the great big ball of fire in the sky, which, by the way, is freaking hot today. I'm going to introduce you to an Australian proverb. Fuck, it's hot. Anyway, it's 1970 and you can go to the bank with your $1 bill and exchange it for a $1 gold coin if you wanted to. The problem with that is it's self-limiting. It means nothing much can happen unless you dig more of that mineral out of the ground. And you can't buy your way out of things like Great Depressions. And yes, I'm oversimplifying this. Ah, fucking leeches. I see you, Tiger Leech, I see you. Suck your blood. Oh God, I hate them. Those things are almost as bad as politicians. Almost. 1971 rolls around and Richard Nixon decides sometime in August that we're going to go to a fractional reserve currency system, which is what we currently use today. Ooh, this is probably going to be a good pan. I've got a lot of black sand at the back, and if I've learned anything in my time, once you get bitten by a leech and you see a lot of black sand, you're going to get some gold. That's the stuff right there. As soon as you get a mixture of chunky black sand and fine grained black sand, you almost always get good gold. If you have one or the other, usually you won't get very much. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. That's a lot of shotgun pellets. That's 5 shotgun pellets in one pan. Oh, we got a nice flake there. Oh, we got gold. We got good gold. There are some nice little pieces. Even in fractional reserve banking, gold still plays an important role in covering the balance sheets of most countries. Right around the world, countries' gold reserves are still maintained at a very high rate. Yeah, you. Anyway, I digress. The more money you print, the less your money's worth. So you got flexibility, but you breed in instability. Kind of like trying to walk over a creek bed half the time, where I fall flat on my ass and lose everything I put in my pan.
What about Matumbo dollars?
Oh, they're backed by gold, mate. Solid as. Ooh. 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 Ooh.
You missed the spot.
Now, because you've bred instability into your system, you need something to make it stable, and that's where gold comes in. That's why countries use it to balance their sheets, because the price of gold stays generally pretty consistent unless there's a crisis, because then countries start using that gold and those reserves to do things, to print more money, to balance stuff out. That's a bit of a mega almost crystal. Things that cause instability are things like war or financial crises like housing bubbles. At the same time that governments are going to utilize big crystals like this to realign their chakras, investors and other people like hedge fund managers also try and investing in gold. The thing is, gold is also being made relatively digital, so every 1 gram of real gold out there, there's about 10 to 100 pieces of digital gold. That puts a rush on the market. People want to get a hold of it. They can't get a hold of it because there's not enough to go around anymore, because we've got fractional reserve currency. And because there is an imbalance in supply and demand, that means the gold price goes up. So I used to go out for a whole day to do gold prospecting just like this, and I would work very diligently to track down the black sands and put in the hard work to extract all the gold and those black sands out of the gravels, all for 45 bucks. But now, because Russia and Ukraine are blowing each other apart, and Israel and Palestine are also blowing each other apart, and the world went through a pandemic, I'm now doing the exact same job, and the gold that I dug out 5 years ago is worth $100 a gram.
100 big one.
That's almost enough, Gadsy, to buy a sun shirt.
Yeah, I could do that, but I like tomato skin.
Sweat man! Na sweat man!
You want me to sweat things up?
Yeah, please.
I'll sweat it up good.
Oh, sweat for me.
You know why I'm wearing a black shirt?
So you can't see the sweat.
This.
It was white.
It was.
It used to be when I go prospecting, every single speck in my pan was worth about half a cent. And today, they're worth between 2 and 3 US cents. Which I know doesn't sound like much, but when you're getting pans with 50 or 60 specks in them, suddenly you're digging up $2-3 every pan. So it doesn't look like much, but this is about $1 worth of gold today. And the gold that I've dug up and saved from 5 or 10 years ago that was only worth $30 or $40 is now worth 90. Check that bastard out. That is how you know it's summer in Australia and you are not safe in water. They can swim. Alright, so why are we listening to some random Aussie YouTube gold prospector about a history lesson on what fiat finance is and what gold is? Well, put simply, a lot of people say that gold prospecting is not about the money. It's about the experience of getting out to nature and friendship and all that. And I've advocated for that hard. And I believe that. Like, gold prospecting is far more than digging dirt out of the ground and making a few bucks. The sense of community, the exercise, the enjoyment of doing some hard physical labor, pushing your limits, exploring, it's all good stuff. I would be lying to you if I said it wasn't about money. Some people are going to come at me after this, say, oh, money's the root of all evil and all of that sort of jazz, but I would argue that it's people who are the root of all evil. It's the same as a firearm. Guns are great in the right hands, doing the right stuff. And they can be horrific things if they're put in the wrong hands. Same with money. Money's fantastic. It solves a lot of problems. It also creates a lot, depending on who you are. I love this stuff. It's fractured, decaying granite. And that decaying granite, because it's the bedrock, has collected all the gold sitting on top of it. This isn't the richest of spots in this area, but it's not bad. Right, so we've established why the gold price is going up. We've also established why money is kind of important, even if you're in this for the fun and enjoyment of it. And now we can marry those two things together. A lot of people don't know about this stuff, but gold traditionally, especially since 1971, just goes up. It just on average goes up. Even if it's a little bit each year, the trend is up and it shows no sign of letting up. There's a number of reasons for that, and if you would like evidence for it, I suggest you read or listen to the audio book, A New Case for Gold. It's a book written in 2016, very smart gentleman, and he made a bunch of predictions, all of which so far have come true, basically on time, give or take a year or two. In that book, he lays out that the gold price could conceivably go to a maximum of between 50 and 60,000 US dollars an ounce. There's a lot of nuance to that, and a lot of maybes. At least that was his outlandish prediction. He said a much more reasonable prediction would be somewhere between 5 and 10,000 US dollars an ounce. He first predicted it would hit 3, and it's just done that. Now, if you're a hobby prospector, or you're an armchair prospector who just enjoys watching this show, my suggestion to you is that hoarding your gold that you dig up, even if it's a gram or two every couple of months, say you get an ounce a year, in 10 years time, you're going to have 10 ounces of gold. 10 ounces of gold, conceivably from now to in the future, could be worth over $100,000. I don't think there's going to be very much in this one. There wasn't that much black sand. Ah, yeah, a couple little flakes, that's all right. Gold is gold after all, and there's some nice sized little flakes in there. Look, I am far from an investor, and I am definitely not going to give financial advice. I'm just saying that if you are already a gold prospector and you're digging this stuff out of the creek completely for free, then you have nothing to lose by putting it aside. Either the gold price is going to remain stagnant like it did all the way through the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, or on the very next economic downturn, we're going to get another major spike like we have been since the 1970s. In which case, the little bit of gold you've dug out on the creek this weekend could be worth 5, 10, 20 times more in the near future. If none of that stuff happens, I've had a lot of fun digging this gold out of a creek. But if it does happen, I've just funded my retirement plan having fun digging out gold on a creek.